welcome back to my small square of the demonetized YouTube universe. I'm Katy Churchill, and I'm back here with another awkward sex story because how many more of these do I have? After this one, I still have 8 more on the list, so we're set for a while, guys. As per usual, disclaimer, the reason I can do a video about this without accidentally embarrassing anyone is because I'm changing everybody's names and any really obvious identifying details. If you recognize yourself in one of these scenarios, congratulations, we had sex. Do you remember it as well as I do? Or are you actively trying to block out this memory? Because let's be honest, this was not a great one. Anyway, I had a lot of awkward sex with this guy, so I don't think we really need to consider it. I can't remember what I called him in the other video. Andy, maybe? What did I call him? I need to write down the names of the guys, like, to keep track of what I've called them. Because some guys I had multiple incidents with. That's right. Some of these guys had more than one awkward sexual experience with me and were still willing to have sex with me. I'm just that good. I'm just that good. Anyway, remember the unconscious guy? If you don't remember it, I'll put it, I don't know if it goes up here or up here. I'm trying to be a good YouTuber, but I'm not great at it. That guy, this story's about that guy too. So he had a pickup truck. Now, I grew up in Alberta, y'all. Sometimes people call Alberta Texas North. They don't call it that in a nice way. They call it that in a derogatory way. But that should give you a little bit of an idea of kind of the general vibe we're going for. So I grew up in Alberta. So I have a fondness for men with pickup trucks. Now, not the guys who live in the city and have big jacked up trucks that have never seen a speck of mud on them because the guys detail them every week and they just drive them to the office and back and then to their beer league hockey game. I'm talking about guys who actually put shit in the back of their pickup trucks and, like, use them. Anyway, so Andy had this old, like, 90s light blue Chevy or a Ford? Can't remember. Doesn't really matter. I'm not one of those girls whose Chevy eats Ford and shits Dodge, whatever. So he had this truck, and I have always had a sexual fantasy about having sex in the bed of a pickup truck. I told you, I grew up in Alberta. It's not my fault. So this has always been a thing I've wanted to do. So we drove out of Vancouver. We're in Vancouver at the time. I drove out of Vancouver into, like, the Fraser Valley where there's tons and tons of farms and, like, you know, between the farms there's you know, roads that fucking no one ever goes on. Because as much as I wanted to have sex in the bed of a pickup truck, I didn't want to do it in his garage, and I also did not want to get arrested, or, you know, have, like, kids driving by. And I like outdoor sex, but I don't like the potential bad consequences of outdoor sex, and I don't really want anyone to walk by and see me having sex. It means I don't have a lot of outdoor sex. But I really wanted to do this pickup truck thing, so we drove, like, I don't even know. It felt like we drove forever, but we did not make it all the way to Hope. So we were somewhere between Vancouver and Hope, which is a fairly large chunk of space. We just drove around basically until we found, like, a little road that wasn't paved, and we just kind of pulled over and hopped in the bed of the pickup truck. Now, he'd kind of, like, put down some blankets and brought some pillows and shit. But I will tell you, my knees and my shins were bruised so badly. Like, it was just, like, black from the knee down. But I basically kneeled in the truck bed, and we were kind of doing doggy style, but my hands kept sliding. And, I mean, doggy style is really hard if you, like, it's hump, and then you gotta kind of wiggle forward, hump, you know? Like, it was not practical. So, I was facing the back of the truck. I put my hands up on the tailgate. Perfect, right? 1 hump, 2 hump, 3 humps. Tailgate goes down. I go right out onto the ground. Not my classiest moment. Face down in the dirt. Arm of my glasses bent all the way out. He didn't fall out. I was the only one who went out. And he, like, I was wearing a dress, I was wearing a dress, and then we just kind of taken my panties off, and he sort of just unbuckled his pants and pulled them down a bit. So, yeah, it was not, and I just kind of laid there for a moment. I was like, I'm not getting up. I don't, because I could hear him laughing. And I could hear him, like, choking on his own laughter. And I was like, I can't look at him right now. Oh, this is so embarrassing. So I just kind of laid there, and that's when he started to get worried that maybe I was actually injured. So he hopped down and then promptly fell because he still sort of had his jeans around his ankles. So we're both lying there on this gravel road, partially naked, laughing our asses off. Now, I did end up with a bleeding nose. Anytime anything kind of like bonks me in the face, even if it's just kind of like a tap, I get a bleeding nose. It's a talent that no one ever actually wants to have. So I had a bleeding nose, and I had blood on my dress, and I was covered in dirt, and so we kind of like dusted each other down. We looked like a mess, so we went to McDonald's drive-thru, and we got a bunch of shitty food, and we got nuggets, and we got burgers, and we got milkshakes, and we drove out, not to the same place because we couldn't find it again, and we just fucking sat in the country in kind of the sunshine in the bed of the truck because we had all the pillows and shit still there. So we just sat there and we blasted music and we ate McDonald's, and I think that was actually the last time we ever had sex. We broke up not too long after. So yeah, that was the thing that happened. Again, do you have awkward sex stories? Has anything awkward ever happened to you during sex? Have you only ever had the thing where, like, you say the wrong word or the wrong name, and you're like, how are you actually causing and receiving injuries during normal sex? Well, not normal. I don't want to call it normal, but, you know? Anyway, that's my life. Welcome to it. And I will see you all, like, next week. Except I won't really see you because I've already filmed next week's video, so... I mean, it's next week for you, but it's not next week for me. It's like 20 minutes ago for me. Ooh, that's a bit trippy. Mwah!